Hello everyone, my name is Ali Hadi and I will be going over how to configure Zeek, install and configure Zeek to monitor two networks and send the traffic which Zeek collects to Splunk, and then that way we can use Splunk to do all sorts of whether traffic analysis or investigations or even threat hunting. So this is a basic setup. I would say, especially in terms of the network, I have only two networks, which is I have one LAN network and another which is the DMZ. I want Zeek to monitor both networks, so I want Zeek to be able to collect traffic on the LAN network and collect on the DMZ and ship all of the traffic which gets collected to Splunk. So there's not I would say a complicated setup in here. So we go to zeek.org, then you can click here and downloads. It will bring you to this page. So we can go with either one of these. This one is the current feature release, and it's it is stable and supported until 2020. This is supported until the next release. So I'm gonna go with this one. I know I know this is probably much newer, but for this is just demonstration purposes, I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with the Linux binaries, and down here I would go to the latest LTS release builds. So click on that. And then in our case it's Ubuntu. So let me just what do we have here? Yep, so we have these two. So you can check which Ubuntu version you have by checking the LSB release. So we have 18.04. so we will be adding the repository. So let's go down here. So it's this one. So now all you need to do is start copy and paste stuff into our, what did we do here? Okay. Oh, okay. So let's do this. Let's do this one. Okay, and then finally we think we have the update, and then let's actually add all of these in. So let's say apt update and apt install Zeek LTS -y. So let's do that all in one command. So yeah, this is my host name. I'm gonna leave these default. Okay, so everything is good. Let's maximize this. And so first thing is everything will be under opt Zeek. So even the configuration files are over here. I'm not going to go into the details about Zeek. You can find a lot of, have a long, I would say, presentation with lots of details and command lines and explanations about Zeek and how it could be used. So I'm not going to do that in here, but let's set up our interfaces. So we can actually let me log in from here and do that. Probably it will be easier for you. So opt it will, because seems the colors are a little bit difficult to read from the command line. I don't want to change now the colors, so I'm gonna change all of this, and I'm gonna change this. So let's start here. We have the logger, and this will be my host name, which is Zeek-Harry. That's how we naming convention which we use here at the college. This will be the same actually. Let me just change it. I should have copied that because I'm gonna use it a lot. So let's do this. Let's do let's do this, and what else do we have? Okay, so this one I'm gonna come back and configure it, but let me just make sure I have all of these set up, and then finally this one. Okay, so this will be ENS 192, and this one will be ENS 160. Let's just double check. ENS 160 and then 192. Okay, so we got that done. Okay, let's also configure our networks. So we have the networks file. So here I'm gonna add them. So we have the 172.168.50.0/29. This is my DMZ network. And then let me just copy this and do a couple of changes. This is my my LAN network. Oh, I forgot one thing. So let's remove these. One more left. Okay, and then we need to, let's just make sure we let's add the so Zeek, the binaries are in OPT Zeek bin. So let's add this path to our shell hrc. Let's go to the end, then say export path equal sign path :/opt Zeek bin. That way we don't need to keep running the commands. So now we can, okay, so now we can do Zeek CTL and deploy it. But before we do that, I want to add, so I'm gonna quit. I want to add one configuration because I want to, Zeek by default will ingest all the traffic into TSV format, tab separated value format. I want them into JSON, so it will be easier for us using the application, the Splunk application, to parse everything inside. So site and then local site. Yep. Let's just go to the end and add our here, let's say load, and then we want to load the policy tuning JSON logs. Yep, tuning JSON logs. Yeah, all good. So now we can run zeekctl. So let's do deploy, and it should, if everything went well, it should deploy the configurations and also start our sensors and log managers and the managers, the workers. So if we do the status, we should see everything is actually working. Great. So we have 2 workers. Each one of them, by the way, will be listening on one interface, so that way it can monitor traffic. Now what we can do is, for example, we can do here is do ns lookup just to generate some traffic, and let's say do my domain Asian Marie. Okay, so that's 1. We could also probably do a wget http w. Just do any kind of traffic. Okay, so now we should be able to see that we have in opt Zeek logs current. Okay, we should see that we have logs. So if we do, for example, let's do Zeek cut. Yep. So if we do Zeek cut and we do, let's say, query, just anything, and answers from the DNS, so we should be able to, oh, seems nothing there, maybe. So cat, what is inside? Oh, there is. Oh yeah, sorry. So because we converted them to JSON, now we won't be able to parse them using Zeek, the Zeek cut, because Zeek cut works with the the tab separated value. Anyway, we will be throwing them to Splunk, so Splunk will be dealing with them from there. So no worries about that. So now let's go ahead and install our Splunk forwarder. So we have Splunk forwarder here, so we can do dpackage -i Splunk forwarder and install it, and then we'll need to configure this. So on here we can go to create a listener. So let's go to settings, go to forward and receiving. Let's add a listener, so a receiver, sorry. So let's add a, which is actually a listener, and let's use the 99.7. Okay, save. So we need to make sure this is working. We need to make sure that we have, let's maximize this. Okay, yeah, so let's add the zone public --- add port. So we have 99.97/TCP. Okay, great. So firewall, CMD, reload. Let's just check the firewall. CMD -- list all. Check that everything is working, and yes, we should have this working listener here. If we do next start, we should be able to see it working. Great, so it is working. We can see, okay, so we have everything on our server working. What we need to do now is configure our forwarder and make sure it now sends the traffic to Splunk. So another thing I want to do here is install an application which you can find online on Splunk's application base. So we can browse more and so it's not here, sorry, it should be on my system. Install application from file. I clicked on that by mistake. So browse, let's go to downloads. We have it here. Just select, upload. If you have it, if you have a previous version, you should like configure it. So you can see it's over here. You can also like filter for that, but it has been it is already here. We could probably just check, see the configurations, all of this. We'll leave them. And now what I want to do is add an index. That's where we will be sending all the traffic. So new index, I'm gonna call it Zeek, just Zeek, like that. This is basic setup, by the way, so there's nothing complicated here. And let's go back to our search. I want to skip this. Let's make sure we have all time, at least for now. And let's do index equal Zeek, just to see what we have. We should have nothing. Great. So all good. Now what we want to do is copy the contents of this file. Actually, we can use a notepad. Okay, but let's first go to, so what we want to do now is configure our forwarder. Okay, so what we will be doing is we need to do vim/opt Splunk forwarder, and then etc system, and then defaults, and then we have sorry, not defaults, we have local. I'm gonna input, no input file, so inputs.conf. we can configure that, so we can copy it, download and copy it. I'm just gonna do this and copy them over here. So we have, this is my Zeek Harry, which is for Harry Potter. So this is where all the logs are. This is because how we are sending the logs. This is not disabled. This is our index. This is saying that it's a JSON, and these are, by the way, the settings that are required for the application to work. You can find them on the application which we installed from Splunk. So now all of this is set up. Let's also add the Splunk forwarder to our path, so that way, so we will be adding another one here. Let's do this, and then bin. So now we will be doing this. So now if we say Splunk, yep, okay, so start, we want to start Splunk, and then -- accept license. So we'll give a user this is the administration name, creating everything, all good, great. So now what we want to do is we want to check, to add the forwarder. So Splunk add forward server, and then our forward server is 172.116.150.10.99.97. It should be like that. It will ask me for the username and the password. Did I use the wrong username? No, I mean the wrong password. I'm out here, one character. So now it's all done. So if we do Splunk status, it should be not working yet. Oh, it's working, great. And if we check the Splunk list forward server, let's do this so we can see it's not active. We will be checking that in a minute. So let's do Splunk restart just to see if this probably we'll need to log in again. Okay, and password, let's see now. Okay, now it's active, great. So now we know that our logs are going to be sent to Splunk. Let's check again here. So yeah, we can now start seeing that the logs have been sent over here, as you can see. Okay, let me just pause the video 1 second, 1 minute. Okay, so we can, as you can see, now we have all our logs in here. Now we can, like, for example, start doing our queries. Let's just do at least 1 or 2. So source type is, let's go with the connection. Okay. And then let's do, for example, top id dot, and this way we can use the original, like Zeek I forgot the name, the Zeek field names, so we don't need to change them. Let's do, for example, 10. Let's see what we got here. So this way we can now, like, list all the source IPs and just list the top 10 or maybe top 2 if you want. You can do anything now, actually, and we can add them to make them as a dashboard, but that's that's just an example here. Let's also, for example, look at if there is any, let's say, do some queries on, like, DNS. So I have one query about the DNS here, which I want to. So let's change this DNS, and let's change this. So we can also do it this way, by the way. So let's do DNS. What should we? Let's see. I have a list of things to check. So we can so maybe do, yeah, maybe do this. So let's do DNS, and then get the top, or actually let's just do this. Let's do it this way. Timestamp, unique ID, the ID dot origin host, and ID dot origin dot response host also. And then let's do the we don't need even the protocol, actually. We can just, it depends actually what you want to do, but for here, query, let's do a query, and then let's do answers. Let's see what we get here, and now let's filter these. So stats count by query, limit them to, let's say, maybe 10. We can limit them to whatever we want, and you can see all of these. Also we could do add sort them by, maybe by time. Let's see, would this work? Okay, so let's generate maybe some more logs just to see if we, and let's look up maybe champlain.edu. Okay, and let's look up google.com, just anythings, And let's go back and see if we can find new. Great, so we can see all of them are immediately appearing in our logs, and they are now filtered and sorted by time. So that's it. Now you can, as you can see, we have all our logs in Splunk. We can now start searching and doing all sorts of queries. That's all I wanted to show you in this video. I hope now it will be easier for you to install Splunk, have Zeek monitor your networks, and then ship those logs to Splunk, and then have now do your magic with Splunk over here. So that's it, and see you in some other video. Thank you. Bye bye.